Hi, everybody. Merry Christmas and welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are here today to talk about a Lifetime movie and a Hallmark movie. It's crazy, but it's going to be really fun. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and my fellow film critic Natasha Alvar is here. Natasha, thank you so much for coming and talking about these movies with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be back, I guess,
Oh,
again
good.
for another Christmas film thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, how is your Christmas season been going there in Singapore? You done anything fun? Anything
Well,
festive?
I just made cookies for the first time.
Oh,
So I made
okay.
some chocolate chip cookies, and yeah. So and I woke up this morning to have some, and then my husband had eaten everything,
Oh
so there's
gosh.
none left.
Well, I guess they were good.
Yeah,
You
I
just
guess
tell them.
that's comforting, I guess.
It's like, what do you think? You're Santa eating all the cookies?
And it's not even like Christmas Eve, right? It's
Yeah.
not on brand. Yeah. But yeah,
This was your
he in
first
his
time ever
yeah.
making chocolate cookies in your whole life?
I used to make it when I was younger. I've
Uh-huh.
always been more of a baker than if I was in one of those like Hallmark
Uh-huh.
Christmas movies, I would be like, the baker person. But
Maybe that's why
yeah, so I
he
was
ate them
more
all, because he was like, I can't believe she made cookies.
but it's because I've never had like because we just moved. So now I have an oven. Yeah. So previously I only
Oh,
had like
like a
those
toaster
tiny
oven.
ovens. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't really make anything. So now it's like, yeah. So
That's true. I I tried fruitcake for the first time. That
oh,
was mm.
like
The
you tried
reputation
making it.
is the reputation of fruitcake is earned. It is terrible. I hate it.
Also, you tried it and you ate it. You ate it
Yeah,
for the first time.
I ate it for the first
Oh,
time and it is awful. I hated
it has.
it.
Was it the thicker type, the one with like brandy or something?
Yeah, and I think that's why is I just don't have like a palate for alcohol, and so that
Um,
flavor, even though
yeah.
it's I just don't like that flavor. And also just like dried fruit, like I don't eat dried fruit that often. And so it was just gross. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Uh, I only eat fruitcake once a year, and that's on New Year's Eve.
Oh, New Year's. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think when you have like a bit of bubbly just
Yeah,
to go with it,
probably.
then
It
it's
makes
not
it,
so
I'd
bad,
almost
I
want to
guess.
like dip it in, like anything to make it. It's just so gross.
Yeah, it's meant to
Yeah.
like be drank, I don't know, eaten, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
not supposed
Yeah.
to be on its own. Yeah, I think.
Well, so what ended up happening is that I wanted to try to find movies that you could watch being in Singapore, and you could we found a link for an Ice Palace Romance, and but then I needed a second because I don't like just being super negative, and this was not a very strong film, and so I was like, well, what can we put with it? And everybody was talking so much about Cowboy Christmas Romance that I thought that would be fun to give it a little bit more attention because it was kind of a buzz. I was even on Yahoo News about it. Did you know this about
Oh
Cowboy Christmas
wow.
Romance? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was they quoted
Damn,
in the
yeah.
article. And I'm not saying Cowboy Christmas Romance is a masterpiece or anything like that, but it got a lot of attention because of it's a little bit spicy, which was fun. So
Hmm.
anyway, it'll be fun to talk about these two movies. And have you gotten to watch any other holiday films over there or
Just I think
new?
just the Netflix ones,
Oh, Netflix.
which
Oh, that's
haven't
too
which
bad.
haven't been great. Yeah, yeah. So if
Oh, they
not,
were
I don't
both
know.
bad. Shoot.
Yeah.
Well, everybody that's listening, put in the comments. You can put it with like or a hashtag on Twitter, Christmas for Natasha, and we'll give her some recommendations. Best of the season that she should check out once they become available. That will, and we're going to be doing our top. We're going to be doing a ton of list episodes coming up in January. We're going to be doing best Hallmark Christmas, best Hallmark non-Christmas, best non-Hallmark Christmas. it's going to be exciting. So, got lots of good
Yeah.
stuff coming from this podcast. And I'm really excited because we have our traditional New Year's recap where we're going to preview the January movies. And we always pick me and Greg McBride. We always pick a New Year's themed movie to review. And we've done When Harry Met Sally and While You Were Sleeping and Sex and the City, the first movie, things like that. But this year we're doing something a little different. We're going a little outside of the box, and we're talking about the Poseidon Adventure, which is
What?
everything happens on New Year's Eve in that movie.
Wait, is that the one with Kurt Russell? Is that the one?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, it doesn't have Kurt Russell. It has Gene Hackman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about a
Okay.
boat, a cruise ship that gets toppled. It's like a disaster movie. It's pretty well done. Shelley Winters is in it. There was
Wait.
a remake. I don't know who was in the remake though.
Okay. I think I watched the remake.
Oh, okay.
That one
Yeah, I
has
heard that
Kurt
wasn't
Russell.
good. Oh, it does? The remake has Kurt Russell? I didn't realize that.
Ye-
Okay. Well, the original is quite good actually. It was nominated for 8 Oscars.
Oh
It's a
wow.
pretty good.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. So anyway, we're doing that. So I'm stalling here we're talking about these movies, but we have lots of good stuff coming up on Hallmarkie's podcast.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkie's podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Let's talk about an Ice Palace romance. So this movie was directed by Shauna Steele, writer Andrew Daly. It stars Celeste Desjardins and Marcus Rosner. And the little summary is a journalist faces old fears when she returns to her hometown ice rink to cover a story. With the help of the owner and his young daughter, she begins to reevaluate her life's purpose. It wasn't the best. I did kind of have fun with some of the side characters inside. Like I liked Jen and her little kind of romance with
Hello?
yeah, I forget his name, but that whole little like office romance was kind of cute, and like her getting the courage to ask him out on a date. That was fun. I liked that. The little girl was cute. Tyler was his name. So it was Jen and Tyler.
Yeah.
They were pretty cute, but everything else, it's so interesting because sometimes the formula really works. And I don't mind that I'm going through sort of the same beats that I've seen a million times. And then other times it just doesn't. And I think that the writing was so stiff in this movie that it was hard to, and everything that just made the predictability feel really tired. And there was just like no chemistry. The whole thing felt amateurish.
Yeah. I think you hit it on the head. I think that's the one thing I can forgive a lot as long as there's like chemistry, I think, between the leads, at least if they make it more compelling for me to watch it. But I don't even understand like why they are attracted to each other. And I don't know, like the male actor, the guy who played Mark, he doesn't sustain eye contact. He likes to turn quite a
Oh
lot. So
yeah.
it's very distracting. So
Mm,
even when he was talking about, I think, the Ice Palace, and he's making, he's on news, right? And then he kept doing this. He kept
yeah,
like shifting
that's
his head.
true.
So I was like, yeah, I
I
was
didn't
like,
even think
that's
of that,
really
but
strange.
yeah, that's true. And it's interesting with Marcus Rosner because he was the wrong guy in the Hallmark movies for a long time. He would be the other guy, or the bad man of business, like Christmas and Evergreen and The Birthday Wish, and these other movies. And he was so good at that. and
But yeah.
and he's been all right as the leading guy in different ones, but I don't know. Sometimes I wish that he could go back to being the wrong guy because he was so good at that.
Oh no, yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
was fun.
yeah. Maybe he's gotten so used to playing the wrong guy. I don't know. You
Yeah.
as a lead, I think you need to have a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you that I found the side characters actually more interesting. I thought
Yeah.
their love story was more interesting, and I wanted to see how it developed. But
Yeah.
the hair appointment was honestly a letdown.
The which one?
They kept they kept building up that Jen was going to get a hair appointment, right? She was
Oh
going for a hair
yeah.
appointment, and then after that, she just tied up her hair. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
They could have done more. That's true.
I was
That's true.
expecting something great with her hair appointment, but
That's
I guess
true. It wasn't that much of a
yeah,
makeover. It's true.
yeah,
I
yeah.
also thought the gay BFF was really cringe in this movie.
Oh
The
God,
her like colleague that
Ken, right? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that was just such a cliche that it was it was tough. I really didn't
yeah.
like that. And I also thought the skating was rough. I mean, with her skating, the way they had to edit it to be like,
Yeah,
it was really bad. I I loved when we got to see the teens skate because they actually were like
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
They were
yeah,
good in the, like the
yeah,
teen competition.
yeah.
That was
I
good.
felt they were told to tone it down or something because they were
Maybe.
making like very obvious mistakes. You know what I mean? To make it look like more amateurish. Like they look good, like they look like good skaters.
But not as
Like I
much
think that one guy.
in the contest. Like once the competition was going, they weren't
Oh,
that,
okay.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like they were pretty
Yeah, yeah,
good
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
in that. And I mean, it was just so cheesy with "You're Chicago, I'm Green Hill." It's like, and I promised I would stop saying things felt like they were done by AI because I hate when people say that. But man, this just felt so generic. It was like, come on, you gotta, if you're going to have, the city girl come to the country, got the hometown hunk, you've got the single dad, you've got all these elements that we've seen a million times. You have to elevate it with the banter. If
Yeah.
this banter
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
boom, 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 I would not care that the story was familiar.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. I think that's the main issue. And I think they didn't feel authentic to their characters also. Like she didn't feel like a journalist, I feel. I
Mm-hmm.
think
Yeah.
later on, the discovery that she makes, right? Like, later on in
Yeah.
the film, I thought that would have been better if she had discovered it or she had
Yeah.
stumbled upon it as like a journalist. I felt like as a journalist, it's kind of weird that she didn't do her due diligence and research. So maybe
Yeah.
I'm expecting a lot of a journalist, but
Well, yeah, and when this story that she did gets posted, she says I it was important that I delivered the assignment, and that's when he gets all upset. And it's like, I mean, it seems like she would have probably put the stops on it before, like it had to get to quite a bit. She had to agree to do it to such an extent. It's not like it was like halfway done and it was submitted or something like that. This was like a polished,
yeah,
finished
yeah,
work. And I think
yeah,
by that point she was invested enough that she probably would have like at least said something.
yeah.
And so it felt like there was something missing there. And I also thought they could have gotten more humor out of certain scenes,
Mm.
like when he puts the salt in the cookies. Like that could have been
Uh,
really funny,
yeah, yeah,
you know? Like just
yeah.
admit, then you wouldn't have your husband eating all your cookies if you did that. But yeah,
Uh,
I liked Jen. I liked the teen skaters. I said the best part was the teen skaters. And of
yeah.
course, I mean, the minute that they found these, I mean, the whole time you're like, okay, when are they going to declare it historic landmark? You know, it's going to happen. It's coming.
Yeah.
So when they find
Yeah.
those blueprints, Christmas ball at the ice house, and of course the bad guy, he's like wanting to turn this like small town ice rink into a casino, which was fun. I'm like, sure, yeah, that's going to be real popular.
I,
Good
I
old
have to say he was
Green Hill Casino is going to be a big hit.
I have to say he was kind of a little bit entertaining as
He
the like
was.
villain.
I can see that. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, yeah, in in his overconfident ways. It was kind of
Yeah.
funny at
Yes.
parts. Yeah.
And so then they of course save the palace. And I did not understand why they had the coda for this one with 1 year later. I thought, okay, he's gonna like propose or something. Because that's what usually happens. Because they
Yes.
used to have at the end of these movies, the characters would say, I love you. And it's like, well, you've only known each other for 2 weeks. How can you say that? And so then they started adding these like codas. I was like, oh, it's 1 year later, so they can say I love you. But in they didn't even do that. They just like kissed again.
Yeah.
I was like, why did they do that? That's
We waited a year to see them kiss again.
yeah. It's weird. I don't understand
I
why
was
they
like,
did
oh,
that.
1 year later. I was like, oh, I thought it was gonna have like, more story and more something. And then it was just like I got you and I got you too. Or
Yeah,
something
it was
like that. And then
weird.
it just ended. Yeah. And I was like,
I
okay.
mean, this thing obviously had like nothing budget. It had, so I am like a little bit like, this is not a normal Hallmark budget. This is not a,
Mm,
but still, I have a hard time giving it any more than 2 crowns. It was not great.
yeah. The
Out
snow
of
was
5.
very obviously fake.
Yeah, snow is fake.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes these things take you out of the film a
Yeah.
little bit. Like, I mean, I'm fine, I guess, if, you got to fake some things, I guess. You can't know,
Mhm.
they don't shoot in winter, right? Like, I mean, they shoot all year round, right? And it's difficult to
Yeah.
get over these kind of things. But I think if it's very obviously like fake, that is just difficult to be in the story, involved
Sure.
in the world that you're building. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think one of the other things that I didn't like was I think sometimes the elements are a bit contrived. Like they don't happen naturally. They happen because the story needs it to happen. Like when Jen finds the blueprints and she's like, here, look at it. And I'm like, why? What would she know? Like, is she some blueprint person? Like, how does she know that there's something
Mhm.
sketchy
I forget. How did she
here?
find those blueprints?
She asked Tyler out, and then she was like lingering at the blueprint
Oh,
stand.
yeah.
And then she was like, I don't know why she picked that blueprint to look at. And she was like,
Yeah.
here to him. And he was like, oh, there's something fishy here.
Right.
And I'm like, how did she know that?
And he thinks she's like betraying him. She's in league with the bad guys. What do you give it out of 5?
Maybe a 1.5.
Yeah.
I think because it made me fall asleep. I think if
Yeah.
if
I get it.
I could stay
get it.
awake, I think I had to like restart it a lot because I kept falling asleep.
Well, let's
Yeah,
just say
it's
there's a
rough.
reason why I was like, we can't just talk about this movie. That's not like that's just not the podcast that I run. I'm just not somebody that's, real negative if I can help it. And I'm not saying that Cowboy Christmas Romance is a masterpiece, but it is a lot better than
Definitely a lot better.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's author Jennifer Snow and her book, A Lot Like Christmas. This Christmas season, in best-selling author Jennifer Snow's steamy rom-com, A Lot Like Christmas, love comes where you least expect it. For Jessica Connolly, there is no better place than her coastal hometown of Blue Moon Bay. She has a wonderful family, supportive best friends, and a successful bakery on Main Street. Unfortunately, every time she designs one of her ex-boyfriend's wedding cakes, takes, she's reminded just how unlucky she is with love, and that she's a good luck charm for men to find their happily ever after with someone else the minute they break up. So she's decided to be done with love. Dr. Mitch Jameson is more comfortable traveling the world with Doctors Without Borders than staying in one place. He just needs to survive the holidays in his small hometown before he can leave again. The beautiful, intriguing bakery owner with an aversion to dating might be just who he needs to occupy his restless heart. From sipping hot chocolates at the local Festival of Lights to early morning dessert deliveries, Jessica and Mitch rediscover the spirit of the holidays. But when the 25 days of Christmas are over, will their romance be over too? Adapted as an UpTV holiday movie, readers can catch a sweeter version by watching Christmas Lucky Charm. And you can purchase A Lot Like Christmas wherever you purchase your holiday reads or by using the affiliate link below. Let's talk about it. I have to read. So the article on Yahoo. So it was written by our friend Filiana Neg. And she's been on our show a number of times. And Rachel Wagner, host of Hallmark's podcast, believes there's a void that hasn't been tapped into yet. It's something that nobody else, as far as the holiday TV movie scene, is really doing, she told Yahoo Entertainment. It's a smart move to make their movies stand out a little bit more.
Oh,
to
okay.
be a little bit sexy, to have a
yeah.
By creating more of an adult storyline and having a love scene, it really proves that Lifetime is willing to try new things and try to gain a bigger audience. So there you go. Super famous in Yahoo.
Good job.
But
Nice.
Cowboy Christmas romance. And this movie was directed by Jake Helgren, friend of the podcast, and written by Sarah Drew, and stars Jana Kramer and Adam Sen. And Mary Margaret Humes is in it. Bruce Thomas is in it. When pro real estate closer Lexi is sent to her hometown of Tubac, Arizona to close on a big ranch before Christmas, she is soon forced to confront former family drama as well as the sexy ranch owner who refuses to sell his home. So for my overall thoughts, I'll go first on this one. I think it was fun. I enjoyed it. I could have used less of the family drama. Like, I was more into the romance. I didn't really care that much about like her fighting with her dad and brothers and, that stuff. But yeah, it was fine. And I did think they had pretty good chemistry together. I think that probably people that were tuning in for this like super sexy moment were probably a little disappointed. I mean, this is not Bridgerton here. I mean, it's pretty. You just see you see a little bit, and then the next morning, they literally have a roll in the hay, And but I think people that are expecting something real hot are going to be a little disappointed. But I do think it is a way to make your movies stand out a little bit. Something that Hallmark is going to stick to the G-rated. And so doing something PG or, PG-13, maybe. I don't think maybe it's PG-13, I guess. I think it's smart. It's because there's a huge market for that. I mean, romance novels are huge sellers. And look how good like Bridgerton, Virgin River, some of these other things are doing. So I think my quote was accurate. It is a smart move on their part. But people that were going into it expecting something too steamy might have been a little disappointed. I don't know, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I think if I had read your words before, and then maybe I went in, maybe I would have been a little disappointed. I did feel like they teased us a bit too much and then didn't deliver as much as the teasing was happening. But
I can see that.
but I enjoyed it. I thought the leads had very good chemistry.
Yeah.
I like their meet cute. I thought that was well established.
Yes.
So they already made us I think rooting for them from the moment I think they appeared on screen. I thought it was nice to kind of have that set up before she entered the picture. So it's like
Yeah.
they had that romance thing before, so it wouldn't look so sketchy and I think kind of dodgy on her
Yeah.
part because she's there to
Yeah.
sell something, right? She's asked there to get him to sell his property. So I
Right.
thought that was a good move to get them,
Hmm.
acquainted prior.
Hmm.
Um
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
that was pretty sexy in the sense of like they're about to have a one night stand and she barely
Yeah.
stops it at the
It,
beginning.
he's the one who stops it. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm not a one night kind of man, like a one time.
Yeah.
He said something like
They
that.
don't
Yeah. And then
exchange names. And
yeah.
but they're all flirty and she says that she can make anyone say yes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sexy. Sexy dancing, all that.
Yeah.
I thought the
Yeah.
little girl was cute. She was pretty
Yeah, the daughter
good.
was cute.
She was
Yeah, she was
good.
quite good.
And he like sings a lullaby to his daughter and they had a nice relationship and and then so basically like Lexi's dad is buying up all the land and she doesn't really say why she's there. She doesn't tell Kobe why. Um and but she's there looking at the land and oh surprise he's there, he's the owner. And um the brothers were all upset with her and basically like she became estranged from the family because after her mother died they kind of like excluded her from the family business and she used to
Mhm.
be like this champion rider
Yeah.
and so yeah, all of that family business I didn't really care about that much.
Yeah. But I think I did like that they resolved it neatly in the sense that whatever they built, like, it didn't feel contrived that this whole 10-year rift was like solved within this Christmas,
Yeah,
a week or whatever. Like,
that's
sometimes some
true.
of these like conflicts are a bit too big to resolve. But I felt like, okay, I understood the father's actions, I understood her actions, and I can
Hmm.
believe that, okay, now they can kind of work together
Yeah,
to
it's
heal that
true.
rift.
They
Yeah.
just got to a place where they could start healing, I think, by
Yeah.
the end of
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true. And
So it's
then,
good that they didn't make it so sometimes they make the conflict too big to overcome. And then
mhm,
it's kind of
yeah.
like you don't believe like they're all happy family at the end. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So that was
Well,
good.
and so they both kind of bond over the fact that they've lost parents and they kind of have shared struggles with their parents. And also she helps Abby, the little girl, she helps her with her writing. They make Christmas lasagna, which I didn't know was a thing. Do you have a
That's
traditional Christmas meal that you guys always do?
uh I don't I mean I we always just buy. Like, I always just get a chicken and
Uh-huh.
I will only make the potatoes. That's the only thing I make. So I'll
Oh,
make
Matt.
like a roasted potato
Oh,
or like
roasted.
a potato salad. That's the only thing that I make. I don't make like the chicken or the meat or anything like that. Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
Well,
What
we
about
for a
you?
long time we would have because we're Wagner's, we would have a German meal for
Oh,
Christmas. Yeah,
okay.
for Christmas Eve, we would have sausages and German potato salad and sauerkraut. My mom takes the sauerkraut and she boils it in apple juice like for a long time, and it makes it really like sweet salty. It's really good.
Oh,
Yeah, highly
okay.
recommend it. It's really good. And we used to have different kinds of desserts, but my mom became gluten intolerant. So now we just have them. We always have fondue, like the chocolate fondue
Okay.
with
Okay.
like fruit and stuff because she can have that.
Yeah.
So it's harder to have family meals now than it used to because my mom has even more now than gluten-free. She has a lot of restrictions, and then two of my siblings are vegan. So, I mean, like, I told my mom, I'm like, we should just go out to eat for Thanksgiving because you have to make like 4 different kinds of everything. So you got to make the
Yeah.
gluten-free, you got to
Yeah.
make the vegan, you got to make, it's like ridiculous. If we went out
Oh my
somewhere,
God.
people could just get
Yeah.
whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That
don't
kind
know.
of makes sense.
I know.
It does.
But we've never tried Christmas lasagna. So maybe that's the key. I don't know. I guess you'd have to get gluten-free
Yeah.
lasagna
Yeah.
noodles. But
Oh
and
man.
they have the Christmas hats. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. It's
I don't
kind of
know.
cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
Mm.
His mom sends her the paperwork, not Kobe. And so she kind of knows what's going on. And he basically is just sinking in this ranch is not successful.
Yeah.
So
They
and
need like
she
one big influx of cash, something like
yeah
that. Because they had to
yeah
keep it running. Yeah.
exactly. And so then they have a sexy scene. It's a literal roll in the hay outside. It would be really cold.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
be
But
freezing.
did it seem, I mean, they were all wearing quite like not like a lot of,
Yeah, there
like
wasn't
they
like
weren't
a
really
coat or
covered.
something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
understand why does he not have a room?
I think he didn't want to like sleep with her in the house, I guess.
Like, I mean, I mean, it would just be really cold in that barn.
I really don't know what he was thinking.
I
I
mean, I
think
guess it's
because his
Arizona,
mom,
it's not that cold, but still, like, it would be pretty cold.
I don't know. I guess because his mom was like good night, and so he
Yeah.
didn't want to like, he's like, oh no, I'm like sleeping with someone. While my mom
I
and
mean, that's
daughter in the
risky though
house.
to do it in the like public barn that anybody could walk into at any time.
Oh my God. When the daughter was walking to it, I thought she was gonna like,
Yeah. Well, he like hangs out. He's
enter
like,
and
huh?
see.
I mean, did you think it was sexy? Did you think it delivered on the hot?
Uh, kind of. I would say like 50-50.
Yeah.
I thought all the lead up to it was really hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the actual thing was like, okay, because he dragged like this whole like bed thing, and like, it was like a lot of like, okay, there's a lot of this anticipation, and then it's just a cutaway, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why do you show me, him dragging this bed and everything? I'm not gonna see anything. So yeah, I mean, all
Yeah.
they
And
gave
then
us
you
was the
just see
shirt
that.
off, I guess.
Yeah. Then you just see
Shirtless
in the
scene.
morning.
Yeah,
I
and they're
guess.
just there, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it was okay. I just think like if it hadn't got all this press and maybe I hadn't been interviewed, like I was expecting it to be spicier. But and it was Lifetime, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. And I agree with you. Like the lead up to it, I think was actually sexier than the roll in the hay.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I
Because he
agree.
was looking at her while he was playing his guitar.
Yeah,
There's
the
all this like
dancing.
nice light, and then there's all this anticipation. You knew,
Mhm.
you know what's leading up to,
Right,
when
right.
they all go to bed. Yeah, so yeah, that was kind of, I think, sexier than the actual
Yeah,
hay stuff.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't think I would find it very romantic to roll in the hay.
No, I don't think so. Because it's kind of
Yeah.
scratchy. Hey, yeah, I, I mean, and she even teases about it. She's like, "Oh, do we get a real roll in the hay?" But it
Yeah,
was
that's
something
why.
different. I give him credit for that, and and then he gets really angry at her, and he accuses her of, oh, well, you're just in it for the commission, which seemed
Mm,
very harsh to me. This person that
yeah.
you have gotten to know quite a bit over the last couple of days. Like, come on, that she would be,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that was very harsh that he said that.
Yeah. And then kind of insinuated, I think later on, that she was like, using her wiles, I guess, to kind of
Oh, yeah. That's the
get him to
hard
sell.
part with these dramas is it's just so hard to tell the whole story in such a short period of time. Like the
Yeah.
rom-coms, the formula of it all really helps you to be able to tell the story because you can have just a one note bad man of business or and then tell that kind of story. It just I don't know. I just think it's really hard sometimes to tell these dramas in the
Yeah.
time that they
Yeah.
have. But yeah, he gets all upset and you're like, come on, dude. And then it was a pretty memorable scene with her crying on that horse. Like, oh honey, oh no.
Oh, yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
I thought she did a pretty good job
Yeah.
crying on the
Yeah.
horse. I'm like, they're gonna see her and
Yeah.
put her in Heartland. So then
Yeah.
this storm rolls in and they basically have to bring the cattle in. So they get all the brothers and everybody helps. And many hands make light work, as they say. And that's when she finds out that the secret buyer is her dad. And he thinks, oh, like I'm doing this to help you. And he says, I bought the land for you. And she says, no, you didn't. And then Abby shows up missing because she gets all upset that they're fighting.
Yeah.
And so then they're trying to find Abby and lots of drama going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
felt like Abby caused a lot of trouble.
she did. But I think Jake did a
for
pretty
no
good
reason.
job. I think Jake did a pretty good job directing these scenes, like with the horses. That's like a lot of stuff to navigate and figure out, that
Yeah, yeah. I
in the
like the
drama.
visuals. Yeah, the
Yeah.
visual of the horses moving and then the cars following. That's really nice, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And the way like the music, you could tell they put some money into this movie, unlike Ice
Yeah.
Palace Romance.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
definitely more money.
yeah. So then Lexi sells the ranch to Kobe for $1 and says, well, we'll be partners, maybe in more ways than one.
Yeah.
She's not in it for the money or the commission. And we get a kiss at the end. And yeah, there we go. Everything's going to be okay. It wasn't that Christmassy, this movie. It was pretty minimal. So if it was one that you wanted to watch just for the Christmas feels, then that wouldn't be a good choice. But I think the most important things were good. The chemistry was good. The writing was pretty solid. I think Sarah did a good job. It's too bad she wasn't able to be in it. I mean, I like Jana as well, but it would have been interesting to see her. I've never seen Sarah play like a cowgirl kind of role where Jana has,
Okay.
before. So, I mean, Jana has released like country music. So,
Oh,
yeah. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So she was a good fit for this. And they did a very good job hiding her baby bump as well. So well done. It's all involved.
Oh, I did wonder because she wore like very deliberately kind of oversized
A little bit, yeah. But
clothing. Yeah.
it was pretty good. Like there were I mean, I don't think she was like super, super showing. So I think that helped.
Yeah.
Unlike,
Yeah.
like there's been some really bad ones where it's just painful. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh no. But they did a pretty good job with this one. And I'm so happy
Yeah.
for Jana. She had a really tough time there for a while. And it seems like she's engaged and had a baby and seems like life is doing pretty well for Jana Kramer. So I'm always happy to following her Instagram. I'm like, oh yay. So that's great.
Oh,
And she
yeah,
did a
that's
good
nice.
job with this. And so did Jake. And it was fun. It was something different. There was really no other movie quite. Maybe Country Hearts Christmas on Up TV. That's the only other one I can that was also a cowboy movie, but this
Mm,
one was pretty unique for this Christmas landscape, I would say. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You don't really see much of those,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I would give this one like a 3.5 out of 5. I'd watch it again.
yeah.
What would you
I
give
I
it?
would give it I would give it the same.
All right. Good. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Very
It's not bad,
good.
yeah.
Well, let us know what you think of these two movies. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. And remember that Natasha Christmas. Give your recommendations for the best of the season for Natasha to catch up on. And that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun. And if people want to read your reviews and follow you, how do they do that?
Okay, so you can find me on, I guess, X. I keep saying Twitter still,
I know
but you
I
can
just
find
say
me on
Twitter. I don't even
X.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Lit My Soul. Basically, I tweet random stuff here and there, and you can read my work and my stuff on culturedvouchers.com. We do things, of course, like film, TV, books, games,
Mm-hmm.
wrestling. Yeah, so that's and I'm also RT certified. So yeah, you can find my reviews on there as well.
Oh, what's
Yep.
that last one?
Roman Rotten Tomatoes, RT certified. I guess
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right, 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 right.
I
Yes.
said the short form.
Okay. Yes, and I am RT certified too. So lots of fun. Uh, check us both out there, and you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes, as they say. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews 5 stars. That really helps us a lot. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. And it helps the algorithm a lot if people do that. And check out the Patreon group. We have weekly exclusive reviews and monthly watch alongs. Like we've had Jake Helgren, who is directed this movie, Cowboy Christmas Romance. We had him for a watch along. So just we barely did in October. So if you want to get to know how these movies are made, we have watch alongs, and we're having a really fun one coming up with Jonah Feingold, who directed Xmas, and we're going to watch Xmas, and that's going to be super fun. And he's like a big time rom-com guy. If anybody listened to the interview, like he knows everything about rom-coms. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And so check that out. Check the Patreon. I would really appreciate it. And also we have the merch store, which has tons of fun designs, and we really appreciate that support. And thanks so much, Natasha. And we'll talk to you all later. Merry Christmas.
Bye.